You know, I don't think I've ever had the opportunity to talk about a documentary on the show, so let's try that. In this case, we're talking about a film called The Original, The Faces of Death. It's a documentary. The narrator presents the viewer with a variety of footage showing different gruesome ways of dying from a variety of sources. Like say whether it's like say someone getting done by electric chair, you know, like ones involving animals and all that. I'm really kind of surprised because, you know, this is a documentary and, you know, it's you know, we're looking at things of horror films and all that stuff. We're looking at films involving horror, and I don't really know how I feel about this. I mean, honestly, I don't want to be harsh because, you know, this came out in the 1970s. I don't want to be mean, but at the same time, I just thought I thought this just seems gratuitous violence for no apparent reason. Because here's the thing: difference between like watching like a slasher film, like say there, you know, there's like a, you know, someone can say, hey, they might not like slasher films, but they can understand like say why they are. This is a documentary in which basically it's just claims like say different ways and things like death, like say whether it is say, oh hey, here's a moment in which folks are like, you know, interacting with alligators and all that. I live here in South Carolina. I live in South Carolina, so we have alligators here and all that. So that way I thought, oh, this is interesting because, you know, I've heard like stories involving gators attacking people where I am and all that. And I thought, okay, that's interesting. Like, this is a documentary that came out in the 70s, so some of this stuff might not be as relevant as it once was. And I thought some of this were fun. Okay, like whether it was the sequence in which they have someone trying to eat a monkey's brain and all that. I'm just gonna say, really, because at times I was shocked, and at the same time I'm just going, cause at the same time I'm just like, am I really intrigued? Like yes, there's like say some moments of like say when it's talking about a historical context, like say when it's talking about like the Holocaust, and I thought, okay, I'm glad they decided to talk about this because, like yes, when it comes to like horrific ways that people died, that would be one of the things that is just like say, yeah, absolutely awful. And there can be moments of like say things that are just like say, okay, like why do you have this in the film? Like whether it's at the end of the film in which they talk about like say after it when people are passed on and like say you know, exorcisms and things of that nature, and it's just like say why, and it's just going okay, and I don't know, I don't really think I feel like say yes, a lot of people like when I was watching this, there were comments saying, hey, this is something that they saw growing up, and it's just something that's like, yeah, that they saw on videotape and they're nostalgic toward it. And I can understand the idea of that. Like, you know, like perhaps someone is like when I was growing up, I was probably looking back, I'd probably be very nostalgic to the animated film Our Friend Martin or something like that. But like, you know, if you saw this as a kid, I'm just like say, there are moments of it where I'm just like you can think, this is something that someone would be interesting in when it comes to a historical context, and at the same time, like, you know, a documentary aspect where you're going, this was interesting. But at the same time, I'm just saying, like, is this something that I'm going to recommend as something like, say, hey, check this out, like, you know, like, this is worth seeing looking back. Perhaps this would be something like looking back and going, yeah. But at the same time, it's not something I'm gonna say, hey, I'd watch this again. Maybe if I watch the sequels, because there are sequels to this, like when they talk about, like, say, different topics, perhaps so. but not really. This isn't probably a film I'd check out again. I'm glad I had the opportunity to check it out, but this isn't something I'm gonna go say, yeah, yeah, and all that. I feel like this is just a one and done kind of film for me. That's just how I feel about it.